Hey, welcome to Color Up. Today we're going to talk about street dice. Now, my channel typically covers casino dice, but there are actually a lot of similarities between the casino and the street as far as how the game is played. But the nice thing about street dice is all you need is some dice and some cash to make the game work. Doesn't matter where you're at, you don't need a fancy layout. You can do it on the carpet, on the street, in a parking lot, up against a wall, whatever. It doesn't matter, and that's what's so good about street dice. Let's check it out. Street craps is basically a simplified version of casino craps. You're either betting with the shooter or against the shooter. The first thing you got to do is establish who's going to be the shooter, and you do that by either choosing high or low. So I'll go high. So whoever rolls high, I got a 10 there, and the other guy rolls, he gets a 5, so I'm the shooter. Next, I need to make a bet, and the other player needs to match me or fade me. So we have an equal amount in the pot. Now there's two parts to this game. The very first roll is called the come out. If I roll a 7 or 11, I win the pot. If I roll a 2, 3, or 12, the other player wins the pot. That's it. That's the first round of the game. So pretty simple. But there are other numbers that could roll, and that's what's called a point. So let's just see what happens. 7 or 11, I'm hoping to hit. All right, I rolled a 9, so it's neither. So I didn't win with a 7, 11. This player didn't win with a 2, 3, or 12, but I rolled a 9. This 9 is now called my point. I got to roll this 9 again to win the pot. If I roll, no other numbers matter. If I roll a 9, I win. If I roll a 7, this player wins. So let's see what happens. See if I can hit that 9 again. Nope, I immediately rolled a 7. I'd lose that money. Now if I roll a 7 on the first roll, I still get to continue to roll. But once a point has been established and I roll a 7, that means 7 out. I lose my money and I actually lose the dice, so it would go to the next player and he would be the shooter. Let's say he wants to pump up the game a little bit and puts in a 20. Well, I got to match him. Do I got 20 bucks? Yeah, I got 20 bucks here, so I'd match his bet. I'd fade him, and then he's going to roll. Again, if he rolls a 7, 11, he's going to win the pot. 2, 3, or 12, I win the pot. Let's see what happens. And it was a 5, so neither of us win the pot, but now the point is a 5. So he has to roll a 5. If he rolls a 7 first, I win. All right, we got a 9, and the roll just keeps continuing. There's a 10. We got a 12, and there's a 7, so the shooter loses. So I win the pot and the dice. This time I'm going to put in $10, and then he's going to fade me $10, and we're going to look for a point. Let's see what happens here. And we got a 9. The point is 9, so now I need to roll a 9 to win the pot. If I roll a 7, I lose the pot. I want to talk about side bets for a second because you can bet on the other numbers besides just the point number. Now I watched multiple street dice videos, and to me they're making these side bets all crazy because the math doesn't just add up. So I saw in a lot of videos where they'd go, well, let's make a side bet on the 6 and 8. So you get the 6 and 8 and I'll take the 7. Well, that's not a fair bet. So to bet 1-to-1 for that wouldn't be fair because the 6 and 8, well, let me just talk about dice probabilities. With the 7, there are 6 ways to roll the 7. That is the number one way or the most combinations to roll any number. So there's the 7. Beyond that is the 6 and 8. There are 5 ways each to roll the 6 or the 8. So if some guy's betting the 6 and 8, there's 10 ways to win, and the other guy's got the 7, there's only 6 ways to win. So to make that an even money bet, that's not a good deal, at least for the guy with the 7. So if you're going to be making side bets on any number, you want to make sure that you get paid fairly. If you're going to make side bets, I recommend betting on single numbers. So let's take a look at the probabilities. Let's say we want to bet on the 4 or the 10. Well, with the 4 and 10, there's 3 ways to roll that, or 3 different ways to make that combination of 4 or 10. So let's say I want to bet the 4. Well, there's three ways to roll that. There's 6 ways to roll the 7. So that guy has a 2-to-1 advantage. So a fair bet for me is I'll put in $10. You got to put in 20. That's 2-to-1 because there's twice as many rolls to roll a 7 versus the 4. So I should get 2-to-1 for my money if I'm going to roll a 4 because it's more likely to roll the 7. So that's a 2-to-1. That's with the 4 and 10. With the 5 and 9, there is 6 ways to roll a 7, and there are 4 ways to roll either the 5 or 9. That's 6 to 4, or you can simplify that to 3 to 2. So a way I can make that bet is 2. I'm going to put in $2 or $20. This guy needs to bet me 30. That would make it fair, 3 to 2 or 30 to 20. That would be a fair bet because it's more likely for him to roll a 7. Remember, 6 ways versus 4 ways, or 3 ways versus 2 ways. So to make this a fair bet, you got to bet 3 to 2. If you want to make a side bet on the 6 or 8, the advantage is 6 to 5. 6 ways to roll a 7, 5 ways to roll a 6, or 5 ways to roll the 8. So let's say I want to bet on the 8. I'm going to play $5, and the other guy's got to play at least $6 to make it fair. So 6 to 5. So if I win it all. If he wins, so he's got to put up more because he has the advantage. He's got a 6 to 5 advantage. So another way you could do that is, let's see, $25 versus $30. So that would be a 6 to 5 bet. Let's go back to our original game. So we're betting on the 9. If our shooter over here rolls a 9, he wins. If he rolls a 7, I win. So we're also going to bet, I'm going to also bet the 10. So hey, can you bet the 10? I'll put in $10. You got to put in 20 because you got a 2 to 1 advantage on that 10. So let's see what happens here. And we got a 3. Remember, our point's a 9, but we have a side bet on the 10. We got an 8. We got a 6. We got another 6, and you just keep rolling till one of them numbers hit. Another 6. Should have bet the 6, right? And there's the 7. My dice flipped over, but that was a 7. So our shooter over here, he was trying for a 9, and I had bet him. So he didn't roll a 9, he rolled a 7, so I win this pot. But over here, I bet that a 10 was going to roll, and he had to bet more because the 7 was more likely to roll, so he risked more. But guess what? A 7 rolled, so he wins that pot. So that's basically it. That's all there is to it. So he rolled a 7, so now it's my turn to shoot. I'm going to go ahead and put in 20. And let's see, he's got $20 to fade me. We'll see what happens. All right, 7 on the come out roll. So I would win, and I keep the dice because remember, only a 7 out do you lose the dice. So let's see. I'm going to put up 20 again. And he's going to put in 20 of his dollars. Let's see if I could take another 20 from him. And we got a 9, so our point is 9. So I got to roll a 9 to win the pot. If I roll a 7, he wins. There's a 4. And a 5. And I don't know if you can see that. I got a 4. And I'm just throwing here on the carpet against this brick wall, but you can really throw it anywhere. There's a 10. You can throw it on the carpet, on the street, up against a wall, a parking lot. You could play it anywhere. That's what's so great about the street craps. You don't need a table with the fancy layout or anything like that. You just need a pair of dice and some cash. All right, there's the 5. We got an 8. I forget what our point was. I think it was a 9. There's a 3. And a 6. And yo 11. 4. There's a long roll. So if you want some action, there's that 7. So I lost that time. That player wins the money, and the dice pass.